If a man is doing any of these five things, I need you to pay attention, because what you allow in the courting stage is what you will be living with in marriage. You probably have been in connections that have felt off, but you couldn't quite put your finger on why. You might have made excuses and even find yourself softening your standards. And you probably told yourself you're being too much. But today we're not going to do that. Today we're calling it out clearly. We're going to be looking at 5 red flags in men that Muslim women too often miss or ignore, and exactly what to do when you see them. And stay until the end, because red flag number 5 is the one that most women completely miss, and it's one of the most important red flags on the list. My name is Sobia, and I coach Muslim women aged 30 plus who are burnt out by the marriage search to heal, grow, and become the main character of their life. Before we get into it, I want to be honest with you. I have experienced some of these red flags myself. And what I remember is not the red flag itself, it's how I talked myself out of seeing it. I would tell myself I was being too sensitive, too rigid, or too much. And in doing that, I stayed longer than I should have in connections that were never going to serve me. And that's why I want to talk about this today, because nobody taught us how to spot these things early. And I don't want you to learn the hard way the way I did. So let's get into it. 5 red flags in men you should never ignore. Red flag number 1, he keeps crossing your boundaries. A man who crosses your boundaries once may have misunderstood, but a man who crosses it repeatedly after you have been clear, he's showing you exactly who he is. You probably told him no late night calls, but he keeps calling you at midnight. You told him you want to keep things halal, but he keeps finding ways to push past that. And I know what's happening inside you when this occurs. You wonder if you're being too rigid, too difficult, or too much. So you soften the boundaries so you don't lose him. But I need you to hear this clearly. A man who respects you does not need to hear the same boundary more than once. And how he treats your boundaries now is a preview of how he will treat your boundaries in marriage. Red flag number 2, he's inconsistent and dishonest. Now, lying in the courting stage doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. You might find the stories have changed. Details don't quite add up, and half truths are wrapped in charm. Now, sisters, I'm going to give you a practical tool that you can use in the courting stage. I want you to ask the same question more than once. Ask the same question 3 times, but ask them on 3 different occasions and in slightly different ways. By doing so, you'll find out if his response is consistent, because consistency builds trust and inconsistency is information, and I want you to use it. Now, your job isn't to catch him lying. Your job is to protect your heart from dishonesty, because if honesty is unstable before marriage, it won't become stable afterwards. Red flag number 3, he is love bombing you. Now, this one can be a bit tricky, because if we're being honest, it feels good at first. The excessive compliments, the big promises, the future talk within weeks of meeting. And it feels like finally, someone who gets me, someone who sees me. But love bombing isn't intimacy, it's intensity. And intensity without inconsistency isn't love, it's performance. And sisters, I want you to remember, a serious man will stay consistent even when things slow down. A man who is attached to emotional high, he will disappear the moment you stop feeding it. And I want to know, has anyone experienced this? If this has resonated with you, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Red flag number 4, he's breadcrumbing you. Now, breadcrumbing is when someone just gives you enough to keep you hoping, but never enough to give you clarity. It includes inconsistent replies, long disappearances in between communication, warmth followed by distance, and no real steps towards marriage, just enough crumbs to keep you at the table. And I know how that feels. You're not crazy for wanting clarity, and you're not too much for needing consistency. Consistency isn't a high standard, it's the bare minimum for marriage. Now, the healthiest response to breadcrumbing is to not chase clarity, but it's to simply disengage. Because when you disengage, one of the 2 following things will happen. He will either step up, or he will confirm that he was never serious in the first place. Either way, you have your answer. Red flag number 5, he is passive and not leading. And this is the one I told you to stay for because this is a red flag that most women completely miss. This one is easy to miss in the beginning because it doesn't feel like a red flag. It just feels like you're being helpful, proactive, and a good communicator. But over time, you realize you're the one progressing the conversations, you're the one bringing up timelines, and you're the one pushing for clarity. You find that you are carrying the direction of this entire connection. Now, patience is a virtue, but patience doesn't mean carrying a man who has chosen not to step into responsibility. In a healthy dynamic, he leads with direction and you respond with depth. Now, if that dynamic is reversed as information, you should never be working harder than a man who says he wants you. So let's do a quick recap of the 5 red flags we've covered today. Red flag number 1, he keeps crossing your boundaries. Now, a man who respects your boundaries doesn't need to hit the same boundary more than once. Red flag number 2, he's inconsistent and dishonest. Now, inconsistency is information, so use it. Red flag number 3, he is love bombing you. Intensity without consistency isn't love, it's performance. Red flag number 4, he is breadcrumbing you. Now, you're not crazy for wanting clarity, and consistency is not a high standard, it is the bare minimum. And red flag number 5, he is passive and not leading. Remember, sisters, you should never be working harder than the man who says he wants you. If you are seeing any of these, this is not a coincidence, this is information, and you deserve to act on it. These are not small things. These are not things you should explain away or soften. These are patterns, and patterns do not lie. You're not too much for wanting a man who is consistent, honest, respectful, and intentional. This is not a high standard, sister. This is the standard. And if you want to go even deeper on this, I want you to go and visit the Red Flag Bank. It's a free resource I created specifically for Muslim women to help you identify red flags in the courting stage clearly and confidently. You will never have to second guess what you're seeing again. The link is in the description below this video. And if this video has resonated with you, I want you to do one thing. Share it with a sister who needs to hear this. You know who she is. Send it to her right now. And I would love for you to share with me in the comments, which red flag have you experienced the most? Let's talk about it. And if this video has helped you, subscribe because there'll be more coming your way, inshallah.